Rolling.
Traveling the world, speaking truth to power.
Really? I forget his name.
Roland Martin.
All right, Roland is at the airport on his way back from San Antonio to Washington, D.C. He was at the NAACP convention.
Mm-hmm.
And Roland, one request before we get started from a Laker fan. A Laker fan named Guy Torrey wants to know, can you go by and talk to Kawhi Leonard about going to the Lakers instead of to the Raptors or wherever he wants to go?
No, I would love to go by Kawhi Leonard's house, and I would tell him they're going to send your ass to Detroit.
Why Detroit, man?
Because that's what you do when people want to act out. And so he's going to join Blake Griffin. He's going to join Blake Griffin. And so it's like, oh, okay. Oh, so you want to go to the Lakers in the East and it's in the West. No, we're going to send you to Detroit in the East.
See, as a Rockets fan, you want to send him to the East. I understand, man.
Yes, I will dispatch him to Detroit in a heartbeat. So Kawhi, I suggest you act right and just stay in San Antonio.
Can we send your guest to the governor's house?
Yeah.
Okay,
yes.
we're gonna do that. But I gotta give a shout out to Willie Brown. He's gonna be on tonight with the Spring Iron Medal from the NAACP. And our good friend Tom Levert is going to be providing entertainment tonight, in San Antonio. So they're going to look forward to that. Southern University alumni, I'm talking to y'all on Saturdays. Looking forward to being in Baton Rouge for that. And as Sybil said, of course, we are in election season. I know somebody might be thinking, well, this is July, it's too early. No, it's not too early because in next month, in August, in Florida, folks will go to the polls for the primary there. And Andrew Gillum, he is seeking the Democratic nomination for a governor. He joins us right now. Andrew, how you doing?
I'm doing well, Roland. Good morning. Sybil, Tom, Jay Anthony, good to hear y'all this morning.
Oh, this Guy Torrey.
Guy, I didn't hear. Oh, good morning, Guy. How you doing this morning?
Andrew, he's short. You would have missed him. Don't worry about it.
Okay, man.
Last night, Andrew, I was in San Antonio, and I sat next to Tom Steyer, the billionaire hedge fund manager. He, of course, has stepped up to significantly help your campaign when it comes to what's happening on the ground there. What is the race looking like in terms of and what you need in order to win a nomination come next month?
Well, I tell you, Roland, I think we got a really important opportunity. I'm in a 5-way primary race down here in Florida. Now, I don't mind sharing with y'all that I'm the only non-millionaire, non-billionaire running on the Democratic side. I got 3 millionaires and 1 billionaire, and then me. Now, I've already admitted my wife would love that to be different, but it is what it is. So we're running this thing off the strength of everyday folks. I grew up and was born in Miami-Dade, graduated in Gainesville High School. My mom drove a school bus. My daddy was a construction worker, and I feel, honestly, not only am I the most qualified candidate in this race with 15 years of public policy making experience, that my lived experience in this state is more like the everyday voters we need in order to win over anybody else running. And it's time for Democrats to win again in the state of Florida. And I feel, honestly, we offer the best shot. Tom Steyer did come in and support us with a significant investment of $1 million into the race. But the truth is we've got over 20,000, givers, donors. My mother's one of them. She owned a $20 a month rotational gift into the campaign, and she calls me every month when it's deducted to make sure it came to us. And so that's what we need. We need more people to engage in this race. We need to know that we've got a chance to win. And honestly, if folks get out, if they activate, if they vote, we can absolutely win this race on August 28th.
Andrew, so 5 people are running. Is it the person with the highest vote total, or do you must get a majority of votes? Is there a runoff? How does it actually work?
It's a plurality. There are the person who gets one more vote. So theoretically, in a 5-way race, you can have the nominee emerge with 20% of the vote plus 1. And just a simple side note, the black vote will represent anywhere between 29 and 32% of the vote itself. The black vote can be consequential to who wins this race. Now, I don't mind competing in any part of the state. I won my race for the Tallahassee City Commission when I was 23 years old, a seat that the electorate was almost 70% white. We won that with 54%. When I ran for mayor in a 3-way race, we won with 76% of the vote. But I'm talking to the folks out there, everyday folks who want to see themselves again reflected in government, who want to see an education system that works for us, who want to have former felons get their rights rights restored and the dignity that comes with being able to work again and earn a good wage for their family. All of those issues are on the ballot. All of those issues are what I'm running on and what we're trying to make sure we're able to change in this state, but I can't do it by myself. We need the strength of people getting up and saying enough is enough. We already see the sideshow that's happening at the national level. All of us ought to be deeply embarrassed by what we've seen on full display by Mr. Trump. Well, one way to answer to that is having a governor in the states who's prepared to stand up and to defend us and the rights of these states when it comes to standing up to Donald Trump on Medicaid expansion and on making sure we get infrastructure dollars to flow into our communities again.
You haven't said anything about gun control.
Well, I could say this. I got sued by the NRA, and they had me in court for 2 years.
That's my man right there. That's my man. Here's my man right here.
That's it.
Yes.
Sued by the NRA.
We got sued because we refused to repeal a city ordinance which simply said you cannot shoot guns in city parks. The most basic, commonsensical, benign piece of public policy, but by example of the fact that these folks have way too much control in my state, they sued us. Well, the good news is we beat them at the circuit court, we beat them at the appellate court, and I told them I'd see them in the Supreme Court if they wanted to take it there. But we can't win a fight if we don't get on the field, right? And so that's why it's important that we have leaders. The NRA and the gun lobby are assumed to be indefeasible because nobody ever stands up. But the truth is when you stand up, you realize when you pull back the curtain that the emperor has no clothes. And so now we need governors who are willing to stand up on a consistent and regular basis for regular, everyday folks, not just in mass shooting incidences, but in the regular, everyday gun violence that pervades our communities.
And are the young people?
I'm
sorry, Roland, go ahead.
Andrew, I talked to the governor of Puerto Rico yesterday, and lots of Puerto Ricans have moved to Florida. What is your outreach to them? Because they represent significant numbers, and because they're American citizens, they can actually vote in the primary.
Absolutely. I just completed a round table with a number of Puerto Rican leaders and those who have been displaced largely into the I-4 corridor just the other week. I got the endorsement of one of the highest-ranking Puerto Ricans in the country, Congressman Luis Gutierrez, out of Illinois. He is actually going to be with me in Puerto Rico, and I'll be down there on the 28th of this month, meeting with a number of mayors across the island. They're our neighbors. They're our friends. The response from the federal government is deplorable at best. And I want to be a governor who's a good neighbor to our friends in Puerto Rico. And so we're going down there to make sure that they recognize that this is not only about the recovery effort post-Maria, this is also about what does a long-term economic, cultural, as well as educational exchange look like between their closest neighbor here in the States on the mainland, Florida, and obviously the island itself.
And what about Cuban voters?
Well, that's a tougher one. The truth is that Cuban voters, older, tended to be more Republican, so they won't be voting in the Democratic primary. But there are younger.
But the young Cuban voters.
Yeah, that's what I was going to ask about the young people, especially. Yeah, and the young Cuban voters are making a switch, aren't they?
They are. They're tending in the right direction, and that was the other part I was going to make. And quite frankly, for young voters, what we've been trying to get the word out for them is that in the Democratic primaries and the primaries in Florida, you can't vote in those primaries if you are registered as an independent or no-party affiliate. We are a closed primary state, so you must be a registered Democrat or registered Republican in order to vote in this race. And you've got 30 days out from the election to change your registration, which you can do online, and make sure that you're able to have a say in these races. If you don't engage then we can't complain in the outcome that we get in November.
What's the deadline again?
30 days out. August 28th is the primary. July 28th is the July 29th is the deadline.
Yeah, 10 more days.
That's right.
So if you are a independent in Florida, you will not be able to vote in either primary unless you change your party affiliation.
That's correct.
And register to vote, and you register as a Democrat?
That's what I would suggest. If you feel yourself reflected in this Republican Party, then, do you. But I'm guessing that there are more folks in this state and across the country who see themselves reflected in our values. Absolutely. And you don't got to be hook, line, and sinker with everything that we believe. But if you want to see your values reflected, I would encourage you to vote with the Democratic Party. If you want to change the day after, you can do that. But in order to have a say in these primaries on August 28th, we need you to be registered. And just one other note on the August 28th, I'm claiming this victory already just because we're walking, I think, in something really powerful, historic, and prophetic. On August 28, 1964, 1963, Dr. King delivered his I Have a Dream speech. On August 28th in 2018 in Invesco Field in Denver, Colorado, Barack Obama accepted the nomination for President of the United States on the Democratic ticket. And I honestly believe that if we show up and vote on August 28th, 2018, we have the opportunity to win in this state and make history.
I like it.
And of course, August 20th, 1955 was when Emmett Till was listed Mississippian. So that's what also sparked the Civil Rights Movement. So, folks, if you don't vote, shut the hell up.
And register. Let's get this registration down in the next 10 days.
That's right. That's right.
Andrew Gillum, we appreciate it. Thanks so much.
All right. Thank y'all for the opportunity. God bless everybody.
Good luck,
Governor
Mr. Mayor.
Andrew Gillum of Florida. I love it. I love the sound.